Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to a few sewing days in my life. This week I'm going to be having a few days dedicated to starting something that I've been putting off for quite some time, and that is my blazer. So I've been talking about making a blazer for quite some time now. I think I spoke about it back in October and I've had the pattern and fabric for ages. I just keep putting it off. For some reason I just feel really nervous about this project, but yeah, the time has come to get on with it because I really want to wear it. So the kind of blazer that I had in my mind that I wanted was just something really nice and casual that I could wear sort of day to day with leggings and boots and jeans and trainers and things like that. Just something that's really sort of on trend, but not too formal and not too smart either. The pattern that I decided to go for in the end was this one by the Avid Seamstress. It's just called the Blazer. I really liked this one because it had a nice, super relaxed sort of casual style. It didn't look too tailored, it's not too fitted, and the process looked reasonably easy as well. Well, not easy, but easier, I should say, than some other blazers that I had looked into. So this blazer has shoulder darts, front pockets, panelled sleeves, and it is fully lined as well. So there's going to be some good meaty sewing techniques to get my teeth into with this one. It does say that it's a great introduction to tailoring, which is good because I've not done a lot of tailored sewing, so I'm hoping that I'm going to pick up some tips from this one along the way. So with the sizing for this one, I'm kind of in between a size 0, which is a UK 6, and a size 1, which is a UK 8. So my measurements for reference are bust 32, waist 26 and hips 36. Size 0 is a bust 32.5, a waist 25 and hips 34.5. So the waist and hips of a size 0 are slightly under my own body measurements. There is a little card inside the pattern envelope which gives you the finished garment measurements. So with a size 0, if I was to go for that, the finished garment would put you at a 36-inch bust. So there is 4 inches of ease there. Waist is 35, so quite a lot of ease around the waist, as you would expect for a jacket. It's obviously not fitted around your waist, is it? And then hips are 38. So even though I would be going for a smaller size to my body measurements, I'd still get an extra 2 inches of ease around my hips. So I'm a little bit worried that if I size up to a size 1, I'm actually going to end up with quite an oversized blazer, which is okay, but I don't want my blazer to be too oversized. I want it to be reasonably fitted. So I think I'm actually going to go for the size 0. It's a little bit risky. I'm not expecting that I'm going to wear this done up. I think it's always going to be the kind of blazer that's going to be worn open. So I'm going to take a risk and I'm going to go for the size 0. So let's talk about the fabrics that I'm going to be using for the blazer then. So I have this wool blend fabric, which I picked up from Minerva. So this is, I think it's like a polyester blend wool. It was actually quite a reasonably priced fabric as wools go, but I didn't want to buy anything too expensive for the first time that I make this blazer. I kind of want this to be like a wearable twirl in a way, so that if anything does go very wrong or if a fitting doesn't turn out right, I haven't wasted too much money. And then for the lining, I've just gone for like a bog standard silky kind of lining. This was super cheap on Minerva as well. I think their linings are about £3 something a metre, and they're supposed to be non-static as well, so I'm really hoping that they will be. What I'm going to do is actually trace off all of my pattern pieces. I want to do that just in case I do end up wanting to make a larger version of this in the future. I did actually start to trace off my pattern pieces at the weekend one evening, but I was kind of interrupted. We ended up having a nice surprise visitor in the evening, so I didn't get all my tracing done in the end, so I do need to just finish that off. I think today is mainly going to be all about tracing and cutting and prepping and getting everything ready, and then hopefully by tomorrow I might be ready to start doing some sewing. By the way, if you are wondering about the lovely light that I have on in the background here while I'm tracing in the evening, that is my lovely Serious Light by Serious Readers. And Serious Readers are kindly sponsoring a small section of this video. If you watch my channel frequently, you'll know how much I love my high definition Serious Light by Serious Readers. I use it all the time and it's been particularly handy in the winter time this year. But I'm also finding it really handy as the seasons are changing, and even though we are getting lighter in the evenings, I'm still feeling as though I need some proper lighting. Sometimes the lighting that we have in our homes can be quite poor, so if I'm ever doing any close-up work like tracing like this in the evenings, I always bring my Serious Light into the dining room so that I can have a little bit more focus on what I'm doing. So if you've not heard of Serious Readers before, they are an independent UK-based lighting company that build bespoke lighting solutions that not only look amazing but work brilliantly as well. And they're perfect for those of us that love to do close-up work in the evenings, such as knitting, crochet, reading or embroidery. They can find it difficult on the eye sometimes, causing headaches and eye strain. Serious Lights use something called daylight wavelength technology, which replicates the daylight spectrum as closely as is technically possible, which makes whatever you're working on much easier on the eyes. It's also sometimes stolen by other members of the family that like to use it when they are writing or reading too, but it's definitely me that uses it the most because I'm always the one that in the evening when we're watching TV or watching a film, I can never settle to just watch. I always have to be knitting or crocheting or doing something at the same time. So my Serious Light allows me to do that because I can have that on in the background and not disturb everyone else by having the big light on so that I can see what I'm doing. So here's a little close-up of the inner workings of my Serious Light. It has a flexible neck that can be bent in all different directions so that you can get the focus just right. All Serious Lights are fitted with a dimmer function, meaning that you can tone the brightness up or down as needed, and they're also fitted with a beam width function as well, meaning that you can focus into exactly what you want to on whatever you're working on. Serious Readers are offering £100 off of any of their Serious Light range using my code SR513. All lights come with a 30-day money-back guarantee and a 5-year warranty, so if you aren't immediately happy with your light, you can return it for a full refund. I'll leave my discount code and the link to the Serious Readers website down below in the description of the video, and I really hope you'll pop over and check them out. Thanks so much to Serious Readers for sponsoring this part of the video. Now let's get on with some tracing. I bought this roll of tracing paper from Amazon quite a while ago and it's lasted me for so long. I think I'm going to buy another one because it actually comes in a wider roll as well, and that's sometimes handy for when you're tracing wider pattern pieces. In the past I've actually had to tape two pieces of this size of the roll together to make the pattern paper wide enough, but I think I'm definitely going to treat myself to the wider roll. I was actually finding it difficult to follow the lines of my size while I was tracing this time. I just went over my size line with a highlighter before tracing, and that helped me to see the line and just follow it a little bit more easily. That took ages. It took me about an hour and a half to finish tracing all of those pieces. Tracing is always worth it, but it does take a long while, doesn't it? Which is why I rarely do it. Too impatient to just get on with things. Anyway, it's all done now. So I've marked all of my pattern pieces and I've put them into two different piles of main pieces and lining pieces there. And then this afternoon, I'm hoping to get all of my fabric pieces cut out and my lining pieces as well. Something that I thought I would just mention is that when I mentioned on Instagram that I was going to be sewing this blazer and I wanted it to be sort of a relaxed style, the designer from Avid Seamstress actually messaged me on Instagram and said that if I wanted it to be a more relaxed style, don't interface all of the pieces. So I'm going to follow that advice and I'm just going to interface like the collar and the facings and those kind of things, but I'm not going to fully interface all of the main pieces. at the back and the fronts and things like that, because I do want mine to feel a bit more relaxed, and I know that I'll be more comfortable wearing it that way. I'm going to have some lunch now and then I'll get on with the fabric. Everything is finally cut out. I'm so pleased that that's done. I always feel like cutting for me is the barrier to getting sewing. I do think one of the best things that I've taught myself in my sewing journey is actually that cutting and sewing on the same day is never really a good idea. I mean, I do it sometimes if I'm just making something really simple and I know it's not going to take very long. But I think in the past, I always used to underestimate how long it takes to actually cut out properly. So yeah, that's taken me a good few hours today. So I'm going to leave it here for today, and then hopefully tomorrow I will come back and get started sewing. I think I'm going to go out for a walk now because I need a little bit of fresh air. Morning everyone, it's the next day now and I'm excited to get sewing on my blazer. I realised last night that I'd forgotten to mark the dart point on my blazer front pieces. It's funny the things you think about in the night, isn't it? I'm really having trouble marking this fabric because it's so dark, so I've gone back to a piece of old school tailor's chalk. I've popped a pin through the dart point and I'm just marking across with the tailor's chalk, and that will mark my dart point. So I'm going to get sewing. The first things we need to do are to make the front dart. So we've got this really funny V-shaped dart that we need to stitch together, and that will give the front of the bodice pieces some shaping. And I then need to move on to the pocket pieces. Something that is really important to watch while sewing this pattern is that every seam allowance is different. So for the dart, the seam allowance was, for example, 1 centimetre, but for the pockets, they're going to be 1.5 centimetres. So you really just need to pay attention and make sure that you follow the instructions closely. It suddenly occurred to me while I was sewing this pocket that I have a rather obvious stripe in this fabric that I hadn't considered at all when I was cutting out my pattern pieces. So I'm just going to take care where I can to try and stripe match as far as possible, but not beat myself up over it. Right, so here's where we're at. So hopefully you can see some of this on the camera. So I've got a front dart just at the shoulder seam here, which you probably can't see. And then I've also done this kind of invisible pocket here. So you can see it's got the lining inside. And then from the back, it just looks like that. So you've got your flappy pocket there. Yeah, I'm really enjoying this process so far. It's one of those where I'm questioning myself the whole way through, thinking, is everything the right way around? Have I got my opposites correct and all of that kind of stuff? Because this fabric is really difficult to tell the wrong and right side of. So yeah, I'm really trying to be careful and just make sure that I've got the right pieces matching up, and it's taken me a little while to do that. But actually it's quite good sometimes to have those kind of sewing projects, isn't it, that really make you slow down and think about the process. So I'm literally just sewing this morning. Normally I have like YouTube on or something in the background, or a podcast or something that I'm listening to, but I'm really enjoying just having some quiet and just going through the process and just sewing. It's really, really nice. So next, I think I actually need to put the top and bottom of the back pieces together, and then I think we're doing side seams and shoulder seams. So yeah, I'll catch up with you in a bit. A quick try on, and so far everything seems okay. Obviously I'm going to have the sleeves and lining, which will take up some of the armhole space, but yeah, I'm just hoping that it's going to fit okay. I'm really happy actually with my stripe matching. I didn't take too much care over it in the end. I know I probably shouldn't say that but I didn't sort of fuss too much about the stripes, but I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see this on camera, but the stripes have actually turned out really well matching. So I'm really pleased with that. And then on the back as well, they've actually matched up really nicely, and also my join, so where you've got the sort of top and bottom back pieces and top and bottom front pieces, they've matched up really well at the side seams as well. Next we're on to the scary bit which is the collar and the facing. So here's where we need to sort of be a bit more careful with the seam allowances, because the seam allowances change a little bit depending on which part of the collar you're sewing. So I just need to make sure that I take care and follow the instructions properly. Sorry, I got really rather carried away there while I was doing the facing and completely forgot to stop and talk. So my facing is in now. I'll try and show you as best as I can. I've got it hanging on this hanger. So here's the collar. This will be the lapel, which will obviously open like that once the lining and everything is in it. And yeah, I'm so pleased with how this is looking so far. It's been really fun to sew. So next I'm on to the sleeves, and then obviously the lining as well. So still quite a way to go. One thing that I did do, I took the decision in the end to not interface the front facing pieces or the neck facing at all, because when I put the interfacing onto those pieces, it just felt so stiff. And I felt as though, because I want it to be a relaxed blazer, I thought it was going to be a little bit too sort of stiff and bulky. So in the end, I just decided to remove the interfacing altogether, and I've just got no interfacing, not even in the collar. So yeah, that's my executive decision. I don't know if it'll be a good one or a bad one. So anyway, for today, I'm going to leave the video here. I'm sorry that I don't have a finished garment to show you. It feels a bit weird finishing on a note like this, because I still have quite a way to go. And obviously, normally at the end of my sewing videos, I have a whole new finished garment to show you. But obviously, with this project, it was never going to all be done in one video. And I just want to say as well, thank you so much to everyone that gave me sympathy about my insomnia and not being able to sleep. And I'm sorry to hear that so many of us suffer with that as well. I'm still suffering with it a little bit actually. It's a little bit better. I've had more sleep than I had last week, but it's still ongoing. But yeah, if you're suffering too, then I send you my best wishes and hope that you get some sleep too. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. I hope you've enjoyed today's video, even though it's been a little bit niche because it has been sewing a blazer and there's been a lot of sewing time. I hope it's given you some nice sewing company if you've been sewing as well. And I hope it's given you some encouragement to maybe get on with a project that you've been putting off because you've been nervous as well. And don't forget to pop over and check out the Serious Readers website, and I'll link my discount and everything down below so that you can go and use that if you want to. Otherwise, take care everyone, and I'll look forward to seeing you in another video soon. Bye.